So the way I visualize myself as a steward of this land, and that's the proper word, not owner, not manager, but steward.
The beautiful grasslands you see here didn't always look like this. Since the 1990s, Joe Kipp, a rancher and member of the Blackfeet Nation, and his wife Kathy have been working tirelessly to restore this land, not just for their livelihood, but for generations to come.
This is where my people have been since the beginning of creation. This is our treaty lands, what was given to us by Creator and by treaty. This is who I am.
This land was passed down to Joe by his late father-in-law. When he stepped in, there were some major issues.
It had been heavily overgrazed by trespass cattle, no water resources, no fencing. The grass species were really non-palatable, non-nutritional types.
To help return the more nutritional native prairie grasses to the landscape, Joe sought some help from the Natural Resources Conservation Service, or NRCS.
We went and explained our situation to them. We built this boundary fence right here, and then we said, okay, what can we do for cross fencing?
Different from boundary fencing, which separates properties, cross fencing helps divide up the land for management, creating smaller pastures and providing more control of when and where your cattle graze.
And then we started the water developments. And so we could start putting water in each unit, sustainable water, so that we could rotationally graze the cattle and move them.
For Joe, it's important to be drought resistant to avoid having to sell and purchase new cattle, which could bring in outside diseases and pathogens. He does so by ensuring that there's always some old growth in the field to get through the drier years. But, he says, those drier years are now the new normal. There's less rainfall, less moisture, results of a changing climate that requires adaptations over the decades.
We have a few old springs, but in a dry part of the year, it'll only flow about 100 yards down, and then it soaks back into the ground.
Joe recognizes that with a changing climate, challenges like water shortages may become more common.
The springs are not producing as much water as they did 30 years ago. And I attribute that to global warming. We're only 50% capacity of what we used to be able to run. We're really mandated how many cattle we have by how much water is available. What helps us to exist in this kind of conditions is the government drought bailouts. But now it's the new normal.
After years of restoration, diverse wildlife has returned to this sacred land.
There's lots of sharp tails, there's lots of antelope.
The return of more native prairie grasslands is helping to provide healthy feed to both cattle and domestic bison herds, both important sources of revenue.
My message to my people and to the world would be to really do these practices properly. Your fencing, cross-fencing, water distribution, rotational grazing. You're not going to fix it in 1 year. It may take decades to get where you want to go, but you're never going to get there if you don't start. The land's going to survive me. It's going to go, I'll be gone. I'll be part of the land. And it'll still be producing.